Escherichia coli, also known as E. coli, was first discovered in 1885 by microbiologist Theodore Escherich, who named the organism in part due to his last name and for the fact that E. coli primarily lives and is found in the GI tract of animals, including humans. In small amounts, it's a normal part of microbiomes, specifically the gut, colon microbiome, but in certain strains in large amounts can cause disease that is harmful to the organism that contains the microorganism. Disease then spreads primarily in the summer months. We get outbreaks here in the US because of water pipe contamination or the influx of barbecues because it is found in undercooked raw meat, specifically beef. It's a rod-shaped bacillus bacteria that contains standard whip-like flagella for movement and hair-like pili and fimbriae for cell attachment and gene transfer. It's the most widely studied prokaryote and includes a capsule, plasmid, and normal nucleoid DNA, as well as a cell wall and cytosol. It's gram-negative, so it stains pink. It's facultative anaerobe chemo-organotroph, capable of both respiratory and fermentative metabolism. Because of this, it's very hardy and versatile and can kind of survive in a wide array of environments, even though it tends to live in the human gut microbiome because of the resources founded there, such as glucose, salts for nitrogen, oxygen, of course, and because it is most metabolically active at the human body temperature, which is 98.6, as well as a pH of 7, which is where most of our body internally likes to sit. Now, it still can survive in temps as high as 120 Fahrenheit or 9.5 pH, but it's most metabolically active around neutral pH and human body temperature. It can be grown on almost any type of media, including gel media and liquid broth medium. Now, the phylogeny of E. coli, in my opinion, is probably its greatest strength. It comes from the genus Escherichia and the family Enterobacteriaceae. And because of this, it has an incredibly diverse gene pool, making it incredibly useful for performing research, for pharmaceutical making, and decontaminating food because it can detect pathogens. Some of its related organisms include Salmonella, Klebsiella, Serratia, and the infamous Yersinia pestis. Interacting with the organism and the environment, E. coli interacts with organisms by being in the gut microbiome, playing a very important role. However, certain strains, such as O157H7, cause disease in large amounts, and this can cause kidney damage, bloody stool, nausea, diarrhea. It mainly affects immunocompromised people, especially children and elderly folks, where death can actually be a possibility. But in a healthy individual, it's mostly, you're mostly fine. You might get really sick, but yeah. Now, interacting with other microorganisms, it kind of acts as a sideline mediator at a party, taking up the scraps from nutrients that wasn't absorbed by other microbiome, so making sure nothing goes to waste, keeping everyone else metabolically kind of stable, right? And because it can metabolize oxygen, a lot of pathogens that will enter the body and could cause illness actually metabolize oxygen. So E. coli, on the sidelines in its small amounts, takes up this oxygen and prevents harmful pathogens from growing and hurting the organism, as well as outcompeting other microorganisms within said microbiome. In the environment, E. coli passes through stool, and if it gets into water, then that's when things get really bad because it can easily contaminate water sources, especially for us humans. But I like to think of E. coli as honestly behaving in a very symbiotic way to humans, keeping pathogens out. And not only that, but the symbiosis extends further, Research of E. coli, because of its broad genome, means that it's very useful for us humans in the field of study, for research, vaccines, pharmaceuticals, decontaminating food. I mean, it really is the most well-studied bacteria for a reason, and has helped us understand pathology and ourselves. Thank you.